Are you 70 and above years old and feeling like loneliness has become your constant companion? Do you wake up each morning wondering if today will be just another day of silence, with no one to share a laugh with or tell about the interesting dream you had last night? You're not alone in feeling alone, and I want you to know that what you're experiencing is more common than you might think. Millions of people your age are going through the exact same thing, sitting in their homes, looking at their phones, hoping someone might call, but knowing deep down that the phone probably won't ring. Maybe you've already tried those dating websites everyone talks about. Perhaps you spent hours creating a profile, carefully choosing photos from years past, writing about your interests and what you're looking for, only to discover that the online world feels even more isolating than your real world. Those sites can be overwhelming, filled with people who seem to speak a different language. And let's be honest, they often leave you feeling more discouraged than when you started. The rejection, the silence, the feeling that nobody really sees the wonderful person you are behind that computer screen. It's enough to make anyone want to give up entirely. But here's what I want you to understand today. Your loneliness doesn't have to be permanent. At 71, you have so much wisdom, so many stories, so much love to give. And there are people out there who would be grateful to know you. The problem isn't that you're too old or that there's something wrong with you. The problem is that you've been looking in the wrong places and using approaches that weren't designed with someone like you in mind. In this video, we're going to talk about real, practical ways to find genuine companionship and meaningful connections that can truly end your loneliness. We're not going to focus on complicated technology or pretending to be someone you're not. Instead, we'll explore authentic ways to meet people who share your values, your pace of life, and your desire for real conversation and companionship. We'll cover why the traditional advice doesn't work for people your age, how to find your tribe in your own community, and most importantly, how to rebuild your confidence so that when you do meet someone special, you'll be ready to let them into your life. Let's start with understanding why those internet dating sites made things worse for you. When you're 71, you're not looking for the same things that a 30 or 40-year-old is seeking. You don't want to play games, send cute emojis, or try to decode what someone really means in a text message. You want genuine conversation, you want to look into someone's eyes when they're telling you about their day, and you want to feel that warm connection that comes from truly understanding each other. Dating websites are built for a younger crowd that's comfortable with casual interactions and surface-level connections. They're designed for people who grew up with technology, who find it natural to express themselves through a screen. But you grew up in a different world, a world where relationships developed slowly, where you got to know someone by spending time together, by sharing experiences, by seeing how they treated the waitress at the diner, or how they reacted when it started raining during your walk. That's not wrong or outdated. That's actually a beautiful way to build relationships, and it's still possible today if you know where to look. The truth is, those dating sites often attract people who aren't looking for the same deep, committed companionship that you're seeking. Many users are browsing through profiles like they're shopping for groceries, quickly moving from one person to the next without taking the time to really get to know anyone. They're looking for instant chemistry, perfect photos, and exciting adventures, when what you're offering is something much more valuable: steady companionship, loyalty, wisdom, and a lifetime of experiences that have shaped you into the caring person you are today. So let's talk about where to actually find people who will appreciate these qualities. The first place to look is right in your own neighborhood, in spaces where people gather naturally and regularly. Think about the places where you feel most comfortable and authentic. Maybe it's the library where you've been going for years, the coffee shop where you know the owner's name, or the park where you like to sit and watch the world go by. These familiar spaces are gold mines for meeting people, because when you're in a place where you feel comfortable, your genuine personality shines through naturally. Consider joining activities that happen on a regular schedule, because consistency is key to building relationships at any age, but especially at 71. When you see the same people week after week, relationships develop organically. You start with small talk about the weather or the activity you're doing together. And gradually, as trust builds, you begin sharing more personal stories and discovering common interests. This is so much more natural than trying to present your entire life story in an online profile and hoping someone likes what they read. Look for volunteer opportunities in your community that align with causes you care about. Whether it's helping at a local food bank, reading to children at the library, or assisting with fundraising for a charity close to your heart, volunteering puts you around people who share your values. When you're working side by side with someone toward a common goal, conversations flow naturally. You're not there to impress anyone or put on a show. You're there because you want to make a difference. And that authenticity is incredibly attractive to potential friends and companions who are also there for the right reasons. Religious communities, even if you haven't been actively involved in years, can be wonderful places to reconnect with people who understand your generation's values and life experiences. You don't have to be deeply religious to appreciate the sense of community that churches, synagogues, mosques, or other spiritual centers provide. Many of these places have social groups, book clubs, game nights, or community dinners that welcome anyone looking for fellowship. The people you'll meet there often have similar life experiences to yours. They've raised families, weathered life's storms, and are now looking for meaningful ways to spend their time and energy. What's beautiful about connecting through faith communities is that the relationships tend to be built on deeper foundations than just shared hobbies or casual interests. These are people who understand the importance of showing up for each other during difficult times, celebrating life's joys together, and providing the kind of steady, reliable friendship that becomes even more precious as we age. Even if you attend just 1 or 2 community events, you might discover that there are people right in your neighborhood who've been hoping to meet someone exactly like you. Senior centers are another incredible resource that many people overlook because they have outdated ideas about what these places are like. Today's senior centers are vibrant community hubs filled with active, interesting people who are living full, engaging lives. They offer everything from art classes and cooking workshops to travel clubs and discussion groups. The key is to try a few different activities until you find something that genuinely interests you. Because when you're doing something you enjoy, you're naturally more relaxed and appealing to be around. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 73-year-old woman who was convinced she'd never meet anyone after her husband passed away 5 years ago. She felt invisible, like the world had moved on without her. One day, her neighbor convinced her to try a watercolor painting class at the local senior center. Margaret hadn't painted since high school, but she figured she had nothing to lose. During her 3rd class, she struck up a conversation with Robert, a retired teacher who was also trying watercolor for the first time. They laughed about their terrible paintings, started having coffee after class, and eventually discovered they both loved old movies and had grandchildren the same age. 6 months later, they're inseparable companions who travel together, attend community theater performances, and have become each other's closest confidant. The magic wasn't in the painting class itself. It was in the fact that Margaret was doing something that brought her joy, which made her approachable and attractive to someone who was also open to new experiences and connections. When you're engaged in activities that make you feel alive and interested, that energy draws people to you naturally. Consider taking a class at your local community college or continuing education center. Many colleges offer non-credit courses specifically designed for seniors, covering everything from history and literature to photography and computer skills. Learning alongside others creates natural opportunities for conversation and connection. You're all there with the goal of growing and discovering new things, which immediately gives you something meaningful to discuss and bond over. Adult education classes have another advantage. They attract people who are curious and engaged with life. Exactly the kind of people who would appreciate your wisdom and life experience. Unlike online dating where people make quick judgments based on photos and brief descriptions, in a classroom setting, people get to know your personality, your sense of humor, and your unique perspective on the subjects you're studying together. Libraries often host book clubs, lecture series, and community events that can be perfect for meeting like-minded people. Most libraries have programs specifically designed for seniors, and librarians are usually happy to help you find activities that match your interests. Book clubs are particularly wonderful because they give you built-in topics for deep, meaningful conversations. When you're discussing a novel or a memoir with a group of people, you naturally end up sharing your own experiences and perspectives, which allows others to get to know the real you. Walking groups and hiking clubs designed for seniors are excellent ways to meet people while staying active and enjoying the outdoors. Many communities have organized walking groups that meet regularly in parks or on safe neighborhood routes. The gentle exercise is good for your health, and walking side by side with someone creates a relaxed atmosphere for conversation. You're not sitting across from each other feeling pressure to make eye contact or carry the entire conversation. Instead, you're moving together, enjoying fresh air and beautiful scenery, which naturally leads to comfortable, flowing discussions. Don't underestimate the power of becoming a regular at certain local businesses. When you frequent the same coffee shop, restaurant, or store, you begin to recognize other regulars, and they begin to recognize you. Small conversations with fellow customers can gradually develop into friendships. The key is to be genuinely friendly and open, not pushing for immediate deep connections, but simply being present and available for natural interactions to develop over time. Think about your existing interests and hobbies, and look for groups of people who share those passions. If you love gardening, join a local gardening club or volunteer at a community garden. If you enjoy playing cards, look for bridge clubs or poker groups. If you're interested in history, seek out historical societies or museum volunteer opportunities. When you connect with people over shared, genuine interests, the foundation for friendship is already there. The most important thing to remember as you start putting yourself out there is that you don't need to transform yourself into someone completely different. At 71, you've earned the right to be authentically yourself, and the right people will appreciate exactly who you are. You don't need to pretend to be more energetic than you feel, more social than comes naturally, or interested in things that bore you. What you need to do is find ways to let your genuine personality shine in environments where others can appreciate your authentic self. One often overlooked opportunity is reconnecting with people from your past. Think about old colleagues, neighbors from previous homes, or friends from decades ago who you lost touch with over the years. Social media, despite its reputation for being young people's territory, can actually be a wonderful tool for reconnecting with people who already know and care about you. A simple message saying you were thinking about them and wondering how they're doing can reopen doors to friendships that have been waiting patiently for years. These reconnections often feel more comfortable because there's already a foundation of shared history and mutual affection. Consider reaching out to former co-workers from jobs you enjoyed, classmates from school reunions you might have skipped, or neighbors who moved away years ago. These people already know your character, they've seen you at different stages of life, and reconnecting with them can feel like coming home to relationships that were simply put on pause, rather than starting completely from scratch. Support groups, even if they're not specifically for loneliness, can be incredibly valuable for meeting people who understand life's challenges. Whether it's a grief support group, if you've lost a spouse, a caregiver support group, if you're caring for someone, or even groups focused on health conditions you might be managing. These environments bring together people who understand struggle and resilience. The connections formed in support groups often become some of the strongest friendships because they're built on mutual understanding, empathy, and the shared experience of overcoming difficulties. Don't overlook the power of being helpful to others as a way of building connections. Offer to help a neighbor with grocery shopping, volunteer to drive someone to medical appointments, or simply make yourself available when people need a listening ear. When you become known as someone who shows up for others, people naturally want to be around you. Kindness and reliability are magnetic qualities that draw others toward genuine friendship. Intergenerational connections can also be incredibly fulfilling and help combat loneliness in unexpected ways. Consider tutoring programs where you can share your knowledge and experience with younger people, or mentorship opportunities that allow you to guide someone just starting their career or facing challenges you've already navigated successfully. These relationships often develop into meaningful friendships that benefit both people involved. Young people appreciate your wisdom and life perspective, while their energy and fresh outlook can bring new joy and purpose to your days. Pet ownership or volunteering with animals can also open doors to social connections. Dog parks, pet training classes, or volunteer work at animal shelters naturally bring together people who share a love of animals. These environments tend to be relaxed and friendly, and having a pet gives you an instant conversation starter with other pet lovers. Even if romantic companionship isn't what you find, the friendships that develop around shared love for animals often become deeply meaningful and lasting. The key to all of these approaches is patience and persistence without pressure. Building genuine relationships takes time, especially the kind of deep, meaningful connections you're seeking. Don't expect instant chemistry or immediate best friendships. Instead, focus on being consistently present, genuinely interested in others, and open to whatever types of connections develop naturally. Sometimes the person who becomes your closest companion is someone you never would have expected when you first met them. Remember that ending loneliness doesn't necessarily mean finding one perfect person to fill every social need you have. Often, the solution is building a network of different relationships that each bring something valuable to your life. Maybe you find a walking buddy who shares your love of nature, a coffee companion who enjoys discussing current events, a fellow volunteer who shares your passion for helping others, and a neighbor who becomes your trusted confidant. Together, these relationships can create a rich, fulfilling social life that banishes loneliness completely. Your age is not a barrier to connection. It's actually an advantage. At 71, you know yourself well. You have interesting stories to share. You've developed patience and wisdom that younger people lack, and you have the time to invest in relationships properly. You're not juggling career pressures and young children like people in their 30s and 40s. You can give relationships the attention and care they deserve to flourish. Most importantly, believe that you deserve companionship and that there are people out there who would be grateful to know you. Your loneliness is temporary, not permanent. Every day you choose to step outside your comfort zone, try something new, or reach out to someone is a day you're moving closer to the connections you're seeking. Small changes really can make a big difference in your happiness and social fulfillment. I'd love to hear about your experiences trying any of these approaches. Have you found success connecting with people in your community? Do you have other suggestions for ways seniors can build meaningful relationships? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because your experiences might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear today. If this video has given you hope and practical ideas for ending your loneliness, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more content designed specifically for people who are navigating life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Here's to finding the connections that will bring joy, laughter, and companionship back into your life. Because at 71, your best friendships might still be waiting to begin.